It's time, guys. Look at this. Be very careful, by the way, when you pull this out. It's hot, so you need to have something protecting your hands. It is ready to go. Let's put it on the counter so you can see. It's completely clear. There are no more wax flakes floating around. So we can go ahead now and wait for it to cool down a little bit, and then we will be able to pour it in 3 phases into the tubes. So what happens if we go and pour the entire tube full at once is that the oils harden along the edges of the tube and the center stays soft for longer and it sinks. And kind of like this lid, it's gonna end up having a sinkhole in the middle. And so we want to have a solid, smooth, even surface on the top. And to achieve that, we have to pour this in at least 3 phases. I would almost say 4, but it might be hard to accomplish. We are kind of fighting time with this because we cannot pour it once it gets too hard in the beaker. And then eventually you're gonna see it starts to harden along the sides and we can't scrape it in anymore. And we're only gonna be able to work with what we have melted in the middle. And I did go over it in this procedure step guide that if the mixture hardens too much to pour at any point, return the beaker into the water bath until it's runny again. So we do not want to work with any kind of clumpy mixture. It has to be runny in order to pour it into the tubes smoothly. Testing the temperature right now, basically after it came off the stove, we're at 77 degrees Celsius. So it's still too hot. So your best bet without a thermal gun is to just keep stirring it. Make sure that the mixture stays even. It's gonna start to get a little bit more opaque as it cools down, but you do not wanna allow it to harden along the sides, not yet. For your first pour, it has to be all in here, swirling around. So let's keep stirring it. We're gonna stay right here. Do not leave this and go do something else. You have to be here for this. And we're gonna measure the temperature again in just a moment. So it's been 2 minutes since I last talked to you guys. And we have gone down almost 20 degrees, okay? So it's gonna hit 40 degrees very soon here. I would say that you might have about 3 minutes of stirring time if you don't have a thermometer until it's time to measure the vitamin E oil into it and then give it another whirl real quick, and then it's pouring time. This got kind of very opaque right now, so it's a tell for you as well if you don't have a thermometer that it's not completely clear when it's ready for the vitamin E oil. So we're adding 1/2 gram. There you go. 0.5. Give it a little stir. And then it's time to pour, guys. First layer. Here we go. Fill about 1/3 of the tube on each lip balm tube. It's about 1/3 in each, and then we're just gonna let this sit on the counter. You can keep stirring it. But as this hardens, guys, you cannot start scraping the sides in or you'll end up with a clumpy mess. Work with what you have in the middle that's still loose. And if you have a chance to pour the second layer with that, do it. Otherwise, if it hardens too much, you're gonna have to return it in the water bath. Here's what's happening inside the tubes at the moment. You can tell it's starting to harden on the sides. And the same is happening with our mixture. This is definitely not clear anymore. I'm gonna give this maybe another minute and I'm gonna go for the second layer. Just for fun, I wanna see what the temperature of this is right now. It's actually saying it's still over 50. Regardless, that is as long as we could have waited to add the vitamin E oil. All right, let's add the second layer. I'll show you. So we are getting closer to the top line. So we're going close to the top rim, but try to stay off the top rim about 1 millimeter. Okay? That will keep the lip balm solution from soaking the rim. If the rim gets soaked, it turns a bit of a darker color. Ooh, with these ones, you can really see that sinkhole forming there. But it would be a lot deeper and more pronounced if we had just poured the melted lip balm in there in one shot like that. And look at the beaker. Beaker is, ooh, there's only so much. Let's go for the third layer. We can't. So when this happens, we take this beaker and we put it back in the water bath. And we're gonna wait until the entire content of the beaker has melted before we continue with the pouring. Okay, we are back from the stove now with runny liquid. And let's add, ooh, that went very close to the lid rim. But that's about how close I want it actually. Oh, look at that one. Is it gonna is it gonna go over? It's gonna shrink as it hardens, so. But that's actually, I'm glad that happened. Now you guys can see. Ooh, oh, look at that. Not so pretty. So be very careful. I'm glad that happened. I could show you that. Another thing I want to point out is the amount that we have left over. So there's not really much less that you could work with because of the fact that it hardens on the sides of the beaker. It's not good to reheat this mixture because it's hurting the vitamin E oil. You can check what the temp of that is now. It's high, almost 70 degrees. Not good. But again, these are for home use. Most of the content in there was filled with stuff that did have the vitamin E oil in it, untouched. And again, we are working with home environments, small little artisan amounts, and the rules are a little bit different. Now, a couple tips on how to clean this stuff. So obviously, all we have here is paper trash. Spoons can be washed as is. Pipettes should never be reused, so just toss all of that. Take your dishes out of there. Get this out of there. What you can do with this, since it's not gonna get used, you can actually microwave this just for 5 to 10 seconds to soften it a little bit. Pour it into a paper towel or something, put it in the trash, and the rest that's stuck on the beaker, you need a dry paper towel and wipe it off until you have approximately a clear glass left to clean, and then you can wash it like a regular dish. But if you just try to start to wash this with dish soap, you'll go through the whole bottle before you'll get all of this out of here. These turned out pretty nice. Obviously, the one with the spill, it's still not a ruined product. It's just not the cleanest tube. Otherwise, we're gonna let these lip balms set for 24 hours before we use them, because otherwise they're just gonna fall apart. This wax oil mixture needs time to set and harden all the way. Congratulations! Isn't that amazing? You made a natural lip balm cleaner than you can probably find anywhere in any store out there. If nothing else, a lot of companies use flavors and mysterious fragrances in their products that they don't disclose. You know exactly what's in this product. And that is the main reason that I personally love formulating. It offers full transparency and customization options to my liking. It's also a freedom skill. It's like freedom from the system. This sometimes toxic beauty culture that we're surrounded by. You do not have to buy anything from the store if you choose to. If you learn how to formulate, you gain a sense of freedom. And if you care about clean eating and living healthy in general, then why on earth would you not learn how to make natural beauty products at home? I'm proud of you. Now, before we go, this is obviously not made today. I would not be squeezing it out of the tube if I had. I squeezed it out too much. It's probably hard enough that I can squeeze it back in. But if you get these paper lip balm tubes, you're gonna have this disc on the bottom. You push on it, it comes out. Just push very carefully so it doesn't come out too far. But if you're very careful, you might be able to push it back in. But it is a beautiful product and feels great on the lips. Let's see. It gives a little bit of shine. Do I smell anything? Maybe a little bit the coconut, but nothing else. It has no fragrances. It's very, very hydrating. And I've also tested this in our 80-degree house in fridge temperature and straight out of the freezer. So like if you imagine like you live in a cold climate and it's the middle of winter and you have this in your purse, it still applies beautifully. It works in every temperature. Just don't leave it in your hot car. You want to always store these things in a cool, shaded, and dry place. all natural cosmetics require a little bit of effort on the storage department. But again, I am so excited, and I cannot actually wait to see if you are going to formulate this product. Please tag me on Instagram at Beauty Isle DIY, and I will share your creation with everyone. Okay? Happy formulating.